Hey guys, Griffin0926 asked me what it is that I use, what kind of tools I use to do the leather. Now, the number one caution for you real leather guys out there, you know what? Strap yourselves down. Put that seat buckle on, strap yourself to the kitchen chair or whatever, because when I start pontificating about my leather prowess, I don't want you laughing and falling out of the chair and breaking a hip or anything, all right? So strap in, because here it goes. What I always start with is the basic template. Okay, this template goes down on the piece of leather. I just outline it with a pen, all right, and then I get ready to cut. So if you're really good at this stuff, you can like line these up one after the other and really save some leather. I'm really not that concerned personally, so I just kind of put it as close as I can and just start cutting. Now I use the X-Acto knife to cut, and I use this cork-backed ruler to cut because the cork-back ruler does not let it slide around on the leather. I used one without the cork for a while, and I'd get halfway through the cut and it would go whoop like that, and I would just screw the cut all up. So I got one with the cork back, Walmart, I think it's $2.99, and the X-Acto knife. So that's how the leather gets cut out. Now the step after that is once you get your form done, you have to put it into shape. You have to put it into the shape of a wallet. I mean, this is just one large piece of leather, so it's not like I have to cut out multiple things with any kind of precision, because I'm not real good at precision either. So, all right, are you guys still strapped in? All right, I don't want to see any seatbelts coming undone there. All right, so you put it together in the shape of the wallet. Now, you're going to glue these edges down. All right, now I use some stuff called leather weld. Now, this stuff is really no more than Elmer's glue all. So I'm suspecting they call it leather weld. They double the price, and that's what you're getting. You're getting Elmer's glue all. That's really all it is. So you can get some straight Elmer's glue all and start there. So once you get it glued down, you're gonna put glue along the edges, and you're going to glue it all down. Now, as I've said before, the glue flows out of here like a volcano. So somehow you got to learn to control your glue. Once you get it all glued into place, I use these clips. I just clip it on the edges. I clip it on the back here, on the fold, to kind of force all the leather down. And I just leave it for 10 or 20 minutes, and it's generally dry by then and ready to go. Then I take the clips off, and I get ready for the next step, which is to groove the lines in it so I can use this step and punch the holes in it. Now, when I first started doing this, I used this little instrument right here. This is just a thing to put lines on the leather, and it's used like this. You just hold it on the edge like that, not backwards, and you just pull it lightly along the edge, and that's going to put a line on there so you can put your punch tines in straight. What I found after a few times of doing this was there was a better way to do it for me. It's use this actual groover, and it puts a groove in the leather that the thread actually goes down into. I had to find my piece with the groove. See those grooves in there? This is what the groover does. It makes a little deep groove, and you work this thing by going like this. Put it there, you pull it down the leather, and there's a little hole right in the top of here. Not sure if you can appreciate that, probably not. There's a little hole right in the top of that and in the bottom of it. This little hole grabs that leather, and you see a little line of leather going woo out the front like that. Hopefully it just keeps coming out. If it doesn't, if it gets clogged, you have to use a sewing needle and you have to ram it through the hole to clean the hole out. But once you get it grooved like this, then you start with these tines. Now these are 3mm punches. 3mm meaning the space between those punches is 3mm. There's a 6, there's a 4, and there's a 2, and they're all used at a different time. So this is kind of a long piece of leather, but the way this is used is if this had a groove in there, I would start at, you have to start right here. You have to start your first punch right down in there on this suede piece, because you want a piece of thread to go over both these pieces of leather. So you start right there, you put it as close as you can, and you give it a little tap. You don't put it all the way through at this point. You're just sort of putting out some guide holes. And then you turn it like this, and you turn it like this, and you turn it like this, and you turn it like this till it gets all the way to the top. And hopefully, if you've lined it up right, you could end up with the punches in the same end at the same distance from the edge. See right here, these are not the same distance. But, you know, hey, it's me doing it, so it's going to take me a few more wallets to figure it out completely. But that's how you use the tines, and that's how you measure the distance on the tines. Then, once you're done punching the holes, you're going to start with the sewing. Now, I use just some waxed thread from Michaels, and I use a couple of regular sewing needles, okay, the sharp kind of sewing needles. Now, I've also got these other needles that are blunt needles, but I found that if I don't use the sharp ones, the blunt ones are actually too big for the hole. And so I started trying to go through with the needles because you want to use a saddle stitch. So I started trying to cross the needles in the hole, and that didn't work at all. That just ripped the hole open. So I used the sharper needles, and I just sort of put them through one at a time, and I'm very careful to not catch an edge. Now, you see on various YouTube videos where people will take this thread and they'll lock it into the needle, meaning that the thread is now locked on the needle. Now, my problem is I catch thread quite often. So this thread is good enough that you don't really have to lock it on the needle. I just take it and let it naturally sit in there. Let's see if I can thread this for you real quick. Threading a needle on camera. Right. Look, I did it. All right, cool. I just take it and do like this. I just take it and fold it like that and just let it hang like that because the wax thread is really pretty stiff and it's not going to come out of there. So it's very easy to get through that way. You can make it a little bit longer and you just kind of pull this through all the time like that. So if you do happen to catch an edge, just take the needle off, pull this back, put the needle back on. So you're going to want to use the saddle stitch. And when you end the saddle stitch, in the end, you're going to end up down here at the bottom. And you're going to have to back this thread back through these holes a couple of times. You're going to have to cut off the thread. Then you're going to have to use some fire to seal the edges. So now you've got a couple of small pieces of thread sticking up here. And you want to light fire to it and just touch it until it starts to burn down. Don't light the leather on fire. It looks really bad. When it's burning, just tamp it down like that. And you've tamped it all the way down. Then sometimes if it's still sticking up a little bit, I'll take another piece of leather, put it on there, and just give it a light tap. And that usually pushes it all the way down. And that's my basic technique for doing these wallets. Now, hopefully, you leather guys, you didn't like bust a lung or anything, or you didn't, cough up blood, when you were laughing at all this. So remember to be kind to all of us newbies out there because, we are really bad at doing leather well. But it's getting there. Anyway, that was a request from Griffin0926. Hope that helped. Bye.